Hey guys, DVP here. Uh, First of all, I want to thank you guys for watching the Hypno podcast. Had a lot of views. Thank you for that. This time we have old player as well from the past, the old superstar, Hanky. My arch rival for many years, zoals Sinners arch rival Lethality. Yeah, they were insanely good. And Hanky was the captain. He'd lead them on. So this is a tribute to him at this podcast. I hope you guys enjoy. Bye-bye.
In the chronicles of TDM history, one man stood out above others. He was Europe's deadliest in team deathmatch, armed with nothing but pure skill, and his weapon of choice, the FLAK cannon. They called him Hanky, the legend, the master, and his story is about to be told only on Players Profiles podcast.
Flanky, just because I abused the gun so much. So
For sure.
and I really like it. I still love it. So yeah.
Oh,
Shout out
what's
to
not to
Flank.
love? What is not to love? It's one of my favorite weapons, also. So let's start. Let's start at the beginning. How old were you when you first played the game, and do you remember what that experience was like?
Yeah, I was 12 at the time, and thankfully I had an older brother who was 7 years older, who was really into PCs and gaming in general. So I remember that we went to try to get our hands on Quake. We tried to get Quake 3, which came out at the same time.
Yeah.
But they didn't have it. It wasn't in stock, so we picked up Unreal Tournament, like the original box.
And the world was never the same.
It's still here.
Oh, that's incredible. I'd love to see this. Yeah. Hanging on to the original box.
Yeah, still here.
That's
I
great.
still have the original, and I think like an interesting thing is you didn't need a CD key to play this,
Yeah.
so you could just pirate it. But yeah, we bought this
Yeah.
because they didn't have Quake 3. So
That's great.
one event changed there, and then I just kept playing. Like at the start, I didn't have my own PC, so we were sharing with my brother, and we both used the same nickname. So we were both Mr. Hanky back then. You can guess what from
Yeah.
South Park. South Park was all the rage back then, and
Yeah.
I was trying to like pick something edgy, and it was Mr. Hanky, and then it was gradually shortened just to Hanky, and I stuck with it for
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my start similarly. It wasn't my older brother who played, but I had this friend who lived in the neighborhood nearby to me, and I was over at his house one day after school, and he was playing this game, and I was like, "What is this? I got to try this thing out." And so he gave me the CD, and I took it home and I installed it on my computer, and my family computer was terrible. It was terrible. Could barely run the game, but I was addicted. Instantly, I was like, "Yep, I get this. I have to keep doing this." So let's just spend a little time in that era. You were 12 years old, maybe. You grew up in Slovenia?
Yeah, I'm from Slovenia, so yeah,
Okay.
that's where. Yeah, at the start I was really bad at the game, and at the start I think I actually branched out into Quake 2 as well. So I was playing Quake 2, some UT99, so it was just like a mix.
Were there
some friends from school were playing Quake 2, but I was hot garbage, so.
Yeah, that's actually the next question I was going to ask is were you playing just alone online, or did you have a community around you that played as well?
It was actually, I was playing like weird mods. I think I was playing like Low Gravity, Instagib, Fat Boys, some.
You and me both. You and me both.
God knows on what sort of servers.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how long this went on for, like probably a year, maybe even more. I didn't even know that, like, there were communities and stuff like that back then. So I think it was like a chance encounter with a Slovenian, like the European TDM guys maybe remember. He was called Nightfall, one of the best TDM Slovenian players, and he was really good. So he got me, actually introduced me to other Slovenians who were playing, And I found out, oh, there's actually a Slovenian server where, you know, I'm pinging good and stuff like this. So that's where it started. Like, and just a team took me on just for, I don't know, because they needed players, and yeah, we just kept playing. And that team was called Lethality. And through the years, we actually managed to win some cups afterwards. Like, I don't know, it took years. I jumped teams, but I always came back to Lethality, and
Okay.
like in 10 years, 6 years later, we were pretty good, yeah. But yeah.
I've asked this question before. I'll ask it again. It probably will end up being a question that I ask almost everyone. When did you start to feel like, oh, I am good? Like I'm pretty good at this game, and I'm better than a lot of the people I'm playing against. When did you get that feeling first?
I don't know. It was probably like a year and a half after I was like in 2000 or 2001. Just I got it on Publix. I was winning. I was like had a pretty high chance of winning like a DM round on a public server, and then it was like, oh, maybe I'm hot shit.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm the shit now. So yeah.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it was also a very like slow growth kind of thing. I also started playing the game with these like low grav giant maps, you know, a giant bathroom or something, and like that's how I learned to play the game. And this guy who's in the North American scene, who's a Canadian player, he was in the server one day, and we were all using, you know, Instagib rifles, and he had the minigun, but he picked up the amp and was just like mowing people down. And I was like, wait a second, what is this? What are you doing? I had never ever played the game normally. I had never played it. I had only ever played these low grav servers. And he's like, you've never played Unreal Tournament before?
Actually.
And so he he taught me how to play the game a little bit. And from then on, oh man, it just blew my mind. So I feel like that's a great segue into the next question, which is, what are some of the other players that you looked up to that you were like, oh man, that guy's so good, I want to try to get like that. How do I do that?
Back then it was the German players, I think, like Okrana, and but I think the player that's like really captured my imagination, or like who I could tell was like a level above. He wasn't just using ping and stuff like this, because back then Germans and the German and the Dutch teams were winning because they had like really good ping, and they just gave them a super edge.
Yeah.
But there was a player called Zulk. Like, I don't know if you've heard of him. He was a Swedish player. A Swedish legend, both in the CTF and TDM scene. And just seeing him, how he moved, how he used his, like, he didn't have the best ping, but he just had style, and he seemed fearless. So yeah, I remember, like, I was, I don't know, 13, 14, changing my nickname to Zolg, and just fanboying. And back then, all you had were like a bunch of demos that you had to, like, sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. You had to, you know.
It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I remember.
One package changed, and then it didn't work, and and then they actually like, and then he stopped playing. Like, it was, I don't know, it was 2002, 3, something like this. He put out like an insane video. Back then, like, the editing was beyond anything that was happened before in UT, and that like cemented him like as the this mythical player. You know, so he had like the style and everything. I'll link you the movie. It's pretty known in the European community, but back then it was. Something.
What's the name of the video? Because I've probably seen it before.
It's probably like Foos, like F.
Yeah.
So Zolg was like he was the poster child of Foos. Like he's also a really good duel player and stuff. But so, he was like him, and I also looked up to Nightfall, like the Slovenian. He was like a huge man, sort of like a mentor role.
So
he took me under his wing.
It's probably because of videos like the Foos video, like what was some of the other ones? The XSU videos, all you know. So those videos is actually how I first heard of your name, because I think that you had a segment in one of these videos as a team player on one of these teams, And I had seen it, and I was like, "Oh man!" And the name stuck with me because you're a kid, you're watching these videos, you see these players who are doing things that you've never dreamed of, and you're like, How are they doing this? What is going on?" And so you just kind of take it in over and over and over again. And I also at the time I was into skateboarding, and so it was very reminiscent of like neighborhood community skateboard videos, and so it felt very similar.
Underground,
Yeah.
A very tight knit community.
So let's talk a little bit.
That video was really influential. Sorry.
It was huge. No, I don't mean to cut you off at all. I mean, you're the guest of honor here, so anything you've got to say trumps whatever I have to say. So I was going to ask, we've talked a little bit about where you come from, what you looked up to. Let's move into the era of when you started to succeed, winning some of these cups. Walk me through some of your history. What were those moments? What were the highlights?
Well, I was unfortunate to have like a really spotty connection. Like during the summer, when people were on vacations, I had really good ping. I could play with the I don't know, like my F6 was 80, which was really good back in the day.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
It was a normal connection. Like I could play with the Germans, but then during the school year or when people were not on holidays, I had just terrible lag and I just couldn't really compete at the time. But even in those days, I was part of like the early days of SAS. So I was playing with Wolverine, Ninja. Like those were like when SAS wasn't as known as it is now. I was on the team with Wolverine, and we actually played I remember there were like two or three summers, probably two, because the years just sort of blurred together. But there were like a summer where we played, and we were able to play like against the big dogs, like Napster and I don't know, like those old Dutch legends, and we were winning, and it was just felt surreal. Like it was like we were on the cusp of being like this. We may be like Division 1 and stuff.
Sure.
And then came like this, like September came, October came, and my ping was just in the trash, and I just couldn't play. Like I couldn't compete. Like my F6 went up to 130, 140, and it was. You couldn't compete with the Dutch and the Germans were so I had to take. It took me like I don't know when we got the DSL connections. Probably like a year after that, or maybe even more. But I was like seething. Like I knew I could do it, but I just didn't have the means, like the connection to actually do it. And like SAS sort of moved on without me because I couldn't contribute during the actual season. So I just kept playing with my shitty ping, and then one day my brother actually managed to get us like a proper DSL connection, and afterwards I was able to compete.
Probably dropped your ping significantly, I would imagine.
I went back to like AEF6, which was which was enough back then. And it just felt okay. Now I can actually play.
I remember, because I grew up in Las Vegas. So I was on the west coast of the U.S. and all of the main players were always East Coast or Midwest, and I would have 90 to 110 MS, and you get used to it. You get used to it. And that's what you play with. And then as internet connections got better and better, it started dropping more and more. And it got to the point where it was pretty stable around like 65 to 70. And I was like, oh man, this feels so great. Some years ago, I moved to Chicago, and now on the Chicago servers, I have 6 ping. I have LAN ping, and now I can't imagine going back. It's like cheating. It feels so good. It feels so good.
That was how I felt back then, as well. It still was it was still much worse than what the Dutch people were having. Like, they had like F120, and you couldn't out-aim them in a way. So that's also where like the love for the FLAK came, because I had to do something. I couldn't out-aim them, so I said, okay, maybe I can be faster. I can be like more aggressive, and that's where I developed this style. Oh,
so actually, it's funny that you mentioned style. I'm going to just casually mention this as well. I had a similar thing. I love FLAK. I love rockets, projectiles in general, but I developed I always refer to it as like a kiting style. I get people to chase me, and because I can start to predict their movements so well, I just land combos or goo. There's a couple players in our community who hate when I have the goo gun just because I'm always like, yep, and now you're dead. But anyway, yeah. So it's funny how we all respond to these different pressures, these externalities to go, all right, this is how I develop my style now, because you just deal with what you got and you make the best of it.
Yeah, like I was 14 years old, I was 15 maybe, 15, 16. I was playing 10 hours a day. So yeah, it wasn't like a deliberate thing. It was just happened.
Yeah. Like you roll with the punches.
Yeah.
So what was your first big win? Big tournament, kind of international players or anything like that?
It was probably one of the clan-based cups. I'm not sure which one was the first. It was probably was it the eulogy or the lethality? The team was the same. So it basically was me, Nightfall, and then we had the Austrian and the German duo, so Mysterio and Element.
Okay.
So we sort of like we were two teams, like we played a lot of 2v2s against each other, and then at one point we just said, okay, let's join forces and let's try to win. And it was like I have to mention that it was really hard to play against SAS, and they got us most of the time, but like a couple of cups in between we were able to sneak a victory here and there. So I'm not sure if it was, I think the lethality one was the first one. Not sure which year, probably 2004, 2005, somewhere in there.
For sure. Have you, and remind me, because I think I was not as familiar with what was going on in the competitive scene at the time. Were the clan-based cups LAN or were they online only?
No. UT was always online. I think at the start some of the Quake cups were actually held were LAN events, like the CS and the Quake and some other games.
Yeah,
but UT was only online. Like
it's always been the stepchild. It has always been second.
Second fiddle. Okay, yeah. But we just stuck with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interviewing you 26 years later. Like, we're in it for forever.
Yeah. So I'm sorry I can't give you like the exact dates because everything is blurred. But
that's okay.
Somewhere there. Yeah. I remember just being super nervous. Whichever final it was. I remember having the shakes and sweating profusely, and it took me like an entire map to actually calm down and to be able to see, okay, I can play in the final. I'm playing the actual final, and we can do this. Like it's it's doable, and
how do you feel like you handle pressure? Do you think that you have that competitor's heart that you were like, I can do this. I feel good in this, or was it always kind of wearing on you?
I think it's like I'm a very like introspective person. So the more I get to think about something, the worse it is. So like if I have time, like if you tell me you're playing the final now, it's better than if I know like 1 month from now you're playing the final. Like it's less of a mind thing. So
sure, that makes perfect sense.
It's like as soon as I'm able to like go inside my body, just to leave my mind, then it's fine. Then I'm fine. Like in most situations in life. But if I have time to ruminate and to like dwell on it, I build the pressure myself. Like, that's how I feel.
I think that is one of the reasons I have never been that exceptional at duel, is because I know I have to think more during duels, and so I get out of the flow state of just like power up timing, collecting all that kind of stuff. But you put me in a TDM team where I can kind of just shut off my brain and call out the things that I see as I see them, and I do much better. It's I
have the same thing, and it's also like the style like TDM suits my style a lot more because I can be super aggressive in TDM. I just get really punished if I do the same thing in a duel. Like my style gets punished. I'd have to sort of reinvent myself. Like I can be decent in a 1v1, but like a smart aim-based player, just he can really he knows what I'm trying to do, and he can just sit back and
Yeah, there's a few guys in our scene where no matter how many times I duel them, I can't do anything against their aim. Like there's nothing I can do. Like Anyway,
so I'd have to reinvent my style to be like a duel player. So
for sure.
Yeah.
So in TDM then, what do you feel like? I mean, we've established that you are a FLAK whore. We've got that handled. What then are your favorite maps? What do you think really lends to your style that you feel like you just crush every time?
Probably Turbine, Codex, Mojo. Maps where I can be, where I can use my speed and my aggression to the maximum effect. So probably like if I have the real like a team that to support me on Turbine is probably the best. Or Codex, like Codex FLAK position. Yeah. People have gotten so good nowadays that it's much harder, because back in the day you could just stack on the Codex belt. It was really hard to lose the belt, but now everybody's got the connections, the aim. Just spam is flying everywhere, and you lose the belt, and it's harder to keep position.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think that. I was just going to say, I think that people's skills overall, because now we've all collectively been playing for 20 years, the timing is so much tighter. Belt is not up for more than a few frames at the most, right? Someone's on it constantly. And so there's less slack. You have to play the top of your game all the time now. And it's interesting to see where people who have been playing for a long time feel that the community has gone. Do you think that the game is in a better state now or a worse state because people are trying to play like a specific meta? Are they trying to play too tightly and rigidly?
No, I think it's in a much better state than it was, especially because I'd have to say that like the Draft Cup format has been the greatest blessing for like UT99 for the European scene at least. Because back in the day, you had SAS, who was by far head and shoulders above everyone else. And then you probably had a team with me on it, just like being second. And then there was like 2 or 3 teams that were kind of on our level. And then there was just like a vast divide between everyone else. So it was just like the cup started and it was sort of like a foregone conclusion, like SAS are going to win. Who's coming in second, and then like nobody wanted to play you because the skill gap was so big. It was
The last few tournaments that we've done have been tiered in that way, where it's like, okay, these are the tier A teams, these are the tier B teams, and then there's like basically 2 or 3 little miniature tournaments happening at the same time to figure out where people are ranking within those similar skill levels.
That's much healthier than because.
I think so too.
In clan-based days, they were, it was rigid. Okay, they had divisions, but even in Division 1, there was just, the gaps were too big. So, and every, like, SAS had a tendency, and I can't blame them, they were able to snatch all of the good players, like the up-and-comers. Like, they spotted, like, oh, there's one possible talent. They just took him and,
because everybody wants to be at the top, and so, I'll go with the big team.
Yeah, it was, I hated them back then. I've grown over the years, so I can't really resent them. But the scene should have adapted in a way, like just to change. Or so right now with the draft cups, I feel like the scene is a like much better place because the teams, especially like if you look at the last cup, like you had 5 teams who were able of winning the cup, and it was super tight. Like it was too hard to call, and I don't know. You don't get those you don't get the level of team play that you would get from like a bring your own team, because of course it would take years to develop that sort of chemistry. But all in all, it's like the playing field has leveled.
Average game quality goes way up, though.
And the thing is, like, you think like, okay, the scene has moved on, the players are so much better, but the best players are still at the top. Like if you check like the European scene, it's still Snatch and Wolverine.
We get it, guys. Oh, you're good.
Stop, enough. But yeah,
So
it's
have you tried other game types? Have you played CTF? I mean, I assume you've played some CTF and stuff like that. What draws you back to TDM over those other types?
it's probably just familiarity and like
Mm.
I like being good. It's, I've actually played quite a few CTF cups, but I've never said, okay, I'm gonna like devote like an entire season just playing CTF and just really
Gotcha.
grinding it. I'm just usually like just dipping my toes in and okay, I'm not as good, and then it's like, oh, I'm not as good. So I really want to spend my time being not as good. So
Yeah,
but
sure.
I really like CTF though, so
Yeah,
I've
okay.
played it, and we actually had the CTF scene in Europe has like a yearly LAN event, and this year we organized it in Slovenia. So we got to. It was probably like 4 days where I played the CTF. I've never played as much CTF as I did in these 4 days, and it
That's
was really
great.
nice. So we should probably advertise this event to the North American brothers as well. Maybe
That sounds
some
like a
of them
great
will
time.
come.
I'm genuinely
It's
jealous of that. I would love to have some kind of LAN event these days.
It's super good. It was my first one, and
Mhm.
I haven't just had so much fun, like just being there, just playing games. Like it felt like I was 16 again.
Yeah,
Like
last time
no
I did anything
response.
like that was 16 years old.
Yeah,
My brothers and I played at the time, and my mom, I don't know what she was thinking, but she agreed to let us drive to the middle of nowhere, a state over, and stay at some guy's house because he had room enough to host people, and so we drove there. A couple people flew in. It was a big event. There were a total of about 12 of us there, but yeah, we were strangers meeting up in the middle of nowhere in the late 90s, early 2000s. Everything they said don't do on the internet, but we were like,
you did.
well,
Yeah, what
I've
could
known these
happen?
guys online now. What are you going to do? Okay, so I do want to ask a couple other questions. What other games? Let's branch outside of Unreal Tournament. What else have you gotten into? What games draw your attention? Have you kept up or anything else?
Oh, I mean, I'm a huge nerd in general, so I really like RPGs. I like playing actual Dungeons and Dragons, and I have all sorts of board games. I play everything. Like it just
Okay,
depends
yeah,
on like a period of my life of how much energy I have. But yeah, I played all
for
sorts of
sure.
stuff.
I feel like we
So
have
yeah,
a pretty similar attitude towards a lot of this stuff. I've got a stack
yeah,
of games upstairs and all kinds of stuff. So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. I got this one. Have you played Gloomhaven before?
Gloomhaven or Doomhaven or Gloomhaven?
Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven, yeah, Gloomhaven. I actually have not played that one yet, but I've heard
This one
tons
is
of great
great.
stuff about it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was like a solo
Okay. Cool.
version.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll have to check it
so I
out.
have all sorts of this. It's geeked out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, for sure, for sure.
super. Yeah.
Let's keep it. I guess I was thinking more specifically video game stuff, but any game is good as far as I'm concerned. Within video games, though, are there any
Mhm.
other games that you felt competitive in that you wanted to like try out and like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna see if my skills transfer over.
Oh, you mean yeah? I mean,
Other shooters. I mean, maybe not, but
others. Yeah, I tried. I played quite a bit of Overwatch as well.
okay.
Overwatch. What else did I do? I played a lot of maybe not. It's not a shooter, but I played a lot of World of Warcraft back in the day.
Yeah, yeah,
We
same.
got pretty serious. Like me and my cousin. It was probably like around 2004, 2005. We got really into it. Like everyone was playing,
Yeah.
and I think like my cousin actually went and joined one of like the top guilds
Hmm.
in the world. But I remember I helped him type like the application, and there was like a question: how much time do you spend weekly on World of Warcraft? And I think he was in like, I don't know, it was just some ridiculous number. It was like over 100 hours per week
Hmm.
just playing, and it was.
Yeah,
I
and they were like,
remember
that's exactly what we're looking for.
I helped him type this, and I recall just feeling like, oh my god, maybe we're playing this a bit too much. So yeah,
Uh,
but yeah,
yeah,
it was.
I got pretty into World of Warcraft myself too. Yeah, I played it for many, many
Yeah,
years, and then the highlight for me was I was able to be in a guild that downed the Lich King during Wrath
it's pretty
prior
big.
to the nerfs, prior to them nerfing the boss.
Ooh,
So
That's pretty
that felt
big.
like an
Yeah.
achievement to me. Yeah.
It is. It is. It is.
And so
Yeah,
after that, I was
mine.
kind of like, all right, I got to step away from this. I'm too I'm too in the weeds on this game.
Yeah, I remember. I think I stopped when I was like 18 or 19. I stopped. Like, I still went and played a bit, but yeah, that was
Yeah.
the height was around 18 when I was 18, 19. Yeah, probably. And we
Um,
were doing, I think, yeah, it was next Ramish. So like we were playing vanilla.
mhm.
So I actually sold my character. I remember, yeah, I sold
Oh
my
man.
character because I had some tier 3 gear, which at the time was pretty rare. I think
Mhm.
I had sold it for like 300 euros, something like this. Yeah,
Not
and
bad.
that prevented me from playing it as much.
Yeah, yeah.
That sort of saved me. Yeah,
One of those things where you're like, okay, I have to do this, and I'll just walk away because
yeah,
otherwise,
it was
the,
easier.
the lure is too good.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's
so let me phrase this question this way then. We actually have a pretty similar history in terms of games, it seems like. What is your game to life balance right now? How much time are you playing games? How much time are you doing work and other things in your life?
well, I don't have much time because mostly I'm spending my time like I have a 5-year-old daughter, so that takes most of my time. But yeah, like during the evenings, probably like from 8, 9 to like midnight, something like this. Depends
Sometimes
on the
one or
day.
two, or if nobody's
Yeah,
home, 4 in the morning. No.
it's like on average, I would say like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I mostly play other stuff. Like I've sort of organized my life that I have this UT phase from like February to April, May, when the main draft cup season is.
Yeah.
So I go really hard when it happens. I really invest myself into it, and then afterwards I just sort of let go. So I haven't played UT in a couple of months now.
For sure. That's good. You revert back to being a normal human being with a kid and
Yeah,
responsibilities and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff. That's great. No,
yeah.
that's the way to live your life. I promise you. You should not be playing this game all the time at
Yeah,
this
I
age.
mean, it's like if I'm playing, I want to be good, and if I want to be good, I have to play a lot just to get this.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to be like razor sharp or as sharp as I can be at this stage.
We
And
all
if I
feel
do
that.
anything, yeah, and if I do anything else, I feel like I'm playing at 90%, and then it's like, why am I playing at 90%? And it's I don't know. Maybe I can ask you like a question. Do you ever have like the CTF players have asked me this? Why do we as TDM players have this sort of pride thing? Like whenever if I go and play, I want to be as good as possible. I never join just to have fun. I want to win. And whenever I play, it's like my name is on the line. And
Mm.
I think a lot of TDM players in the European scene have this like
Mhm.
it's always like a pride thing. You're playing and it's like you
I
don't play
think
just for shits and giggles. It's always like a bit of a serious thing. I don't know.
I think if I spend a second to think about it, the idea that comes to me is it's more about the human nature in any individual person. Because for me, I think I don't have that streak as much. Like the thing that I want the most anytime I play the game is I just want a really good match. I want it to be competitive. I want the scores to be within a few frags by the end of the game. I always want, God, I felt like a really good balanced match. That's the thing that always drives me. I don't really care if I'm the best. I don't really care that I know that I'm a good team player and lots of people want me on their team because I've got great comms, great timing, good map knowledge and decision making and, priority threat assessment and that kind of stuff, figuring out who to fight at what time. But in terms of like, am I the best? No, I had that beaten out of me a long time ago, right? Like I know there are players in this game I will never beat. And when you're coming to the whole game a few years after it's kind of waned in popularity, right? I started playing in 2002, maybe like 2003, I think is probably when I first started playing the game. So at that point in time, UT 2K3 was coming out and 99 was old. Like, why would you want to play that anymore?
Yeah.
And so that's when I first started playing though. And I knew that I was never going to be one of these top players from, the US or anywhere else. And I would play against these guys in TDM or in duel, and they would, beat me 25-1 or something, match after match after match. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to beat these guys, but I can get better. And my mental shift was I don't need to be better than them. I just need to keep improving myself. And I did that for 20 plus years, and I got to the point where now I'm playing people and I'm beating them 25-0, and I'm like, oh, so this is what it feels like, and I'm still losing to the same guys. Like, they're still beating me. Like, I'm not better than them, and I don't think I'll ever will be. But it helped me cement this kind of feeling of like, I am okay with getting my ass kicked over and over and over again, as long as I feel like I'm improving something about my gameplay. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think that's the healthier path. Like,
it means that my ego is not attached to a couple bad matches. I hate that feeling of like, oh, I had 3 bad games in a row. Oh, I hate this game. I'm never playing again. Storm off in a fit. I'm like, whatever. It's a bad night. Move on.
I struggled a lot with this. Like, I always wanted to win, and it was a UT thing. I don't have this if I go play like a game that's even MMOs, like if it's not this shooter thing, it's I'm much more chill. But if I take a game that's a shooter that I expect to be good at, and I'm of course not, because I have to invest a lot of time. Like I did in UT, but I expect to be good, and if I'm not, it's just like, oh, it's so frustrating.
What is, if one comes to mind, what do you feel like has been maybe your toughest defeat? One that was like, I really wanted to win that one and I didn't. Is there anything that kind of stands out?
There was like we used to have like Nations Cups in clan-based days, and it had some ridiculous rules. Like you could only field 2 players from the same team, and they had to be in the same. And if they were on the same team, they mustn't have been on the same team in the last 2 years, or some archaic or cryptic and whatever. So this one year we were pretty good, like Slovenia, and we were playing Sweden, who were like the heavy favorites, and we actually managed to beat them like two maps to 1. And then they went on like this, like someone put in a lot of detective work, and they somehow came up with the fact that one of our players was on the same team as one of the other players, and that made it like that we had 3 players from the same team. So they like found this sort of loophole, and the game was forfeited. They won, even though we won fair and square. And like we had, I don't know, our scene was like 10 players big, and Sweden was one of the top nations. So that felt like we were on the top of the world. Like, we did something like David versus Goliath, and then Goliath went and found some dirt somewhere, and that was probably that was like the hardest pill to swallow.
For sure, and that's not even a loss. It's a victory snatched away from you. It feels very different.
It's that, and like probably like the years of just like this SAS curse. Every year getting beaten by SAS.
Would you say that SAS became your main like rival, that you just felt like, I have to beat these guys whenever I can? Okay, good.
There's no doubt in my mind. So
for sure.
I mean, I can say that they were the best team, deservedly so. And I was just like an angry 17, 16-year-old. So I apologize for any...
Wow, man. You were 17. Who cares?
But there was like an interesting tidbit, I think, like, and I'm not sure which year this was, but Wolverine approached me and said, "Oh, you want to play for SAS? Because, we have we need one." And I said, "No, fuck you guys, I'm not joining." I said, "No, I don't want to win in this way. I'd rather lose to you guys than just to stomp everyone." And I
don't want to be associated with you, scum. Pride, man.
I don't know. Do you watch like NBA?
Nah, not really. But I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Like Kevin Durant when he joined like a real super stacked team, and then he won 2 championships, and it's like it wouldn't feel like I deserved them. So. But
I remember. So I've only ever been a member of one real like competitive clan, and again, I started the game much later than the main competitive scene had started to die out, because it had moved on to other games, and so I didn't ever really have like a true international kind of clan competition setting to test my skills. But I do remember the day that, like, you know, the group that I had joined was Area 51, and they were known somewhat within the scene, and like they were one of the top groups in America still. And I remember talking to the guy who was the clan leader at the time, and he was like, yeah, you know, I think it'd be great to have you on the team. And I was like, oh, like, you know, that little kid in me was just like, I'm part of the club. I feel cool. Which, you know, in retrospect is silly and meaningless in a bigger picture. But, you know, what you're feeling at that time is real. And so, it was very exciting for me.
It's valid. All of it.
I've told this story online before, but I've never, like, in an interview. A little fun story related to that, though, is one of the players who had been part of the original, Area 51 team had taken a year or two away from the game and had come back and was like, who are these people on the team? I don't know any of these names. Who is this guy? I don't know. Get out of here. And I was like, oh, I'm part of the team too. Like, hey, let's just, it's all good, man. And he was like, you do not belong on this team. And we dueled. Yeah, we dueled, and he beat the crap out of me. Like, he was so much better than I was, undeniably. And I was like, all right, maybe I don't belong on this team. And like, it was super deflating, but at the same time, like, I still felt proud. Like, I still felt like, who cares? All right, the competitive's not here anymore, so I can just do what I want anyway. But I was good enough to be better than a lot of people who were playing at the time. But fun little story. So let me kind of bring this, not necessarily to an end, but move on to the second stage of these kind of questions. What do you feel is left in the arena shooter space? Like, do you think that the arena shooter genre at all has any life left in it? Or is it just us? Is it just these old fogies who are like, all right, I was hot shit when I was 16. You don't understand.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think there's like this, the actual, like, UT is a super fast and super brutal game, like super unforgiving.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, and it's nothing like this exists. I mean, and I wouldn't trade this for anything. So, but I'm not sure what the actual scene wants or what, like, the people want, and hopefully there's like a renaissance of like fast, brutal shooters like it used to be.
I think
none of these like I have to play 5v5 with some super team play, and I have hero abilities, and I have all sorts of, you know, like, not Overwatch, not Valorant, and I don't know. Hopefully, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's money in it or, Yeah,
I think, truthfully, the hard reality is that it's going to be very, very difficult to ever get this type of game popular in the way that some of these other games are, because it's hard to watch. If you don't know what's going on and you are just kind of trying to follow along, anything more than 1v1 is really hard to follow, because it's just so chaotic and it's so fast that it's really hard to explain that. Even if you have an announcer describing what's happening, it's really hard to kind of keep everything in your head. So it's always going to be difficult to try to bridge that gap. But I do think that what makes the game good is fundamentally good at its core. And if someone takes the time to really get into that addictive cycle of self-improvement and really kind of mastering it, it can be like chess. Like it's about how your play style is composed to someone else's, and what that, how that works out in the field is great.
It's super like psychological warfare, to be honest. Because like on certain positions, like, I don't know, I just, like, if I see someone playing that's pitted against me on, like, I don't know, like a Codex FLAK position, I just feel the fear. Like, I know that I have him, and it's like, I don't know, it's super addictive. Like, the feeling of, okay, I have the upper hand here, and, like, you're gonna suffer for the next 15 minutes.
It's great. It's undeniably good. Have you tried some of the other Unreal Tournament games?
I did, but they never sucked me in as much as UT did. And there was like a period when I was super into World of Warcraft, so I think like UT 2004 sort of went by just because I was geeking out on something else. Like the game that came closest was probably UT3. I think it had like the most similar game feel to UT99, but it just, I don't know, it just died out so fast.
Yeah. I think for me, I had a similar experience with the UT 2003, 2004, because I was so heavily into WoW at the time. And, it's one thing to be like, yeah, I know if I stop playing for a little bit, my aim won't be quite as sharp or whatever. But I just felt I was head over heels with what I was doing in WoW. I was just so addicted to that.
Yeah.
And for me, UT3, I think the PC that I had at the time could barely run it. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm going to I don't know if I can upgrade my computer right now. And so I think that one kind of sat on the shelf for me for a while. I did play it a little bit, but I never was competitive in that one. And then the game that I actually felt like had a good chance to me was the UT4 Alpha. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good at the time. I thought, man, if they finish this is going to be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, flash forward, 12 years, it's still not anything.
Yeah,
and so, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was really good. I mean, I didn't play much, but it felt and it looked like a solid game.
Yeah, I think it had the potential, but it just didn't get over the hump.
Yeah, and like all of the people were still playing UT99. That was like
at that point, you're like, all right, well, I'm not going to fight this. I'm just going to go back and join the join the crowd.
During the Corona times, they were starting the draft cups, and like everybody was there again. Like like all of the old geezers were still playing, and it was okay. Why would I switch? Like it's everybody here, like And there's nowadays I have no illusions of going pro, so I prefer to like the cozy feel of what I'm used to and the people I'm used to. So, and the scene is really good. Like the scene is
definitely
like the tightest it has ever been, I think, because we're all so much older nowadays. It's like everybody's super. I mean, there's still some tension every now and then, but mostly it's just everybody giving everybody else their flowers and just being upstanding gentlemen. And it's a joy to see. Like it can be boring at times, but we just grew up, and it's super
I'm
wholesome.
insanely jealous, and I am looking at the rest of you North American scene. Figure it out, guys. We are all almost 40 or 40 plus. Figure it out.
Yeah, but the TDM scene is also special because it's even smaller than the CTF scene here in Europe. So
I think in North America, I think it's a little bit opposite. I think the CTF scene here was always bigger than the TDM scene here. I think that's the case still. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I've always been TDM through and through. I've played CTF here and there, but never really competitive. I think I got added to a team for one of our draft cups a long time ago as like a backup to a backup or something. And I played 4 minutes of one match and was clearly the awkward kid who was like, why is this guy on our team? Like, what is he doing? And I got ripped on pretty hard, and it was whatever. I don't care. It's fine. Anyway, so
I actually wanted to ask you, like, you mentioned that back in the day, you guys actually watched like our demos.
Yeah.
But if like there were a couple of players that started like moving into our draft cups as well from North America, most notably the Snakester.
Mm-hmm.
His play style, and I don't want to be. I've only seen like a couple of NA players play here in Europe, but their style is completely different from what we're used to. Like much more strategic, much more. I don't know. Like we grew up knowing, okay, he is low, he killed me, and now I have Enforcer. I'm just gonna rush him because it's like I know I can kill him with like 2 shots, and then I'll take him and I kill him like 5 times again. And this is the mentality that us EU players have, but it seems like there's like a deeper understanding of the game in some sense when I'm watching like Snakester play. He's like super interesting to watch, and I always wanted him on my team. Yeah.
For sure. So I can tell you a little bit. I'll actually be talking to him in one of these podcasts coming up pretty soon, and you can learn all about it directly from him. But he and I have known each other online probably for the better part of 15 years. He had been a top tier and competitive player for a lot longer than I had, so I don't think that we ran in the same competitive circles when I was kind of first getting started, and it took me several years to kind of catch up to where I would even be considered decent competition to him. I think the history of us playing against each other, I think he's going to beat me almost every single time we play. I have beaten him a handful of times, but we have good matches against each other. And I think what makes it special is that he's got such strong opinions about the game, and I will definitely be talking to him about those strong opinions. But he often talks about how much he wants the North American scene to be more like the European scene. And specifically what he talks about when he says stuff like that is you guys cemented positional play very early on in your TDM games. And the North Americans copied that. We tried our best to go, okay, well, they're a lot better than us competitively as a community. And again, some of our top players may have been outstanding players and could compete in duels and that kind of stuff. But the average random community member in Europe was a lot better than they were in North America. And a part of that was because you guys had cemented this notion of like, no, this is your position, play it as best as you can, and do whatever you can to get back to that position if you die, and really try to hold it. So we started to emulate that pretty early on in our competitive scene. Well, as the game died out, and a lot of the North American players went on to other games or did other things, that rigor and that standard of trying to play positionally and have very specific strategic viewpoints kind of fizzled away. And so what we were left with was a lot more intuitive, creative, raw gameplay. We all had our own unique way of approaching the game. And so our TDM matches became much more chaotic and much more frenetic in a way. You know, we were chasing this kind of like, all right, I'm here, what can I do with that information? And just came much more instinctually in terms of the way we approach the game. But I think that you will be hard pressed to find another North American player who's still actively playing the game, like DeSnakesta is, who thinks as deeply as he does about what to do in any particular moment. It was actually from him that I started to learn, especially on Codex, one of his favorite maps to duel. It is not always worth it to get the kill when you have the opportunity, if it means that they will respawn in a more advantageous position. So he's thinking not just like, not only can I get this kill right now, but how am I positioned? Like he's playing pool or like billiards in a way where he's like, what is the ball going to do after this? He's thinking at that level, whereas a lot of us are kind of going like, oh, look, I can shoot him. Click, click, click. You know what I mean? Like we're not
I would
monkey brain up here.
I would do everything to kill.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was from him that I started to learn a little bit more about the patience that you can execute, not just holding your shot, but holding the kill if you can. Say, okay, I could kill him now, or I can reposition when I know he leaves this area to go over there, and when he respawns, he'll be screwed even worse, and I can continue to push my lead. So yeah, he's a deep thinker when it comes to the game, and that definitely comes out in the way that he expresses his opinions, and that's led to a lot of contentious moments in our community for sure, especially because it's hard to not give someone who's as good as he is the respect that they deserve and a leadership kind of position. But he will often be like, no, you guys are all wrong. And I know because I'm better than you. And so that, you know, well, I don't want to put words in his mouth. I'm sure he will fight me tooth and nail on that. But yeah, it is an interesting comparison. And I think that with these changes that we've got to ping comp, and shout out to RX and to, I'll go all the way back to shout out to Tim, who made the original NewNet code.
Yep.
When he had made NewNet for the North American scene, and we all tried it out, summarily it was kind of rejected. We all tried it and said, this doesn't feel quite right. We don't like it. It's making hit scan so overpowered. It just, something about this doesn't feel right. And so we stopped using it. It got, you know, it got picked up in the sniper arena scene. It got picked up in the Instagib scene because that's exactly what they want, is they want zero ping stuff. And so it kind of sat on the back burner for a long time, not being used. And so a lot of the changes that have been made by the guys who are working on it now are fantastic because it helps kind of smooth out the projectiles, the ping compensation, and it made the game feel much more how you think about it feeling. And as the communities have more and more opportunities to merge, because we're like, all right, well, hey, we've got decent ping comp, right? I'm incredibly lucky with the internet connection I have now. Like I said before, I get, 5 or 6 milliseconds on Chicago servers, but I get under 90 milliseconds to London from Chicago. Very playable, very doable, and especially with ping comp, sign me up, right?
I'm looking forward to the next cup.
Yeah.
Just
So I think
seeing
that
how gonna be super.
part of the goal of this video series is to start introducing these players to each other, to say, okay, hey, look out for this player, look out for that player. And hopefully I also want to get some of the South American players that are just fantastic, and it's really interesting.
I've seen Loco play. He's
Loco's great. Like KHR and Hilde, they're these brothers come out of nowhere and they're just like, whoa.
Yeah,
whoa, okay. Yeah.
I was watching them like actually challenge Snatch and Wolverine, which is like a really amazing feat. Like and they came like for us, they came out of nowhere. So
and they're young too. They're pretty young, So it's exciting to have young people who are like good and competitive. We're like, oh, okay, this thing's not dead yet.
It's I don't know. It's still amazing just to be able to play this game.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
26 years, and it's
it feels to me.
People still smile. Like if I'm like I run into like people from high school or from like elementary school, and like, oh, what you're doing? And I said, I still play UT every now and then. It's like still like to this day.
You don't criticize someone for being good at chess their whole life. Leave me alone. No, I think that what's excites me about it, especially with this ping comp and this whole thing that we're doing now, is it feels kind of like we've all been playing in our own little silos, getting really, really good against each other. And while it has always been the dream to say, all right, well, let's see what NA can do versus EU, or let's see what that's like. And we would get so few opportunities to do that because you have to either be on LAN or accept the fact that one of the two sides has got a massive ping advantage. And so now it's kind of like, oh, wait a second. Now we can kind of maybe do this thing. And it's starting to like, fuel people up a little bit. There was a little bit of, all right, let's see what we can do. Which is exciting because it feels like the game just got a lot bigger in a way.
Yeah, it's like every draft cup is just I'm seeing new people. And I have to give a big shout out to DVP who's like putting in massive work, just bridging the communities. And
he told me, hey, Oscar, I need you to do these interviews. And I was like, what do you want me to do? He messaged me randomly, 4 a.m. my time or something. He's like, I need you to do these interviews. And I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? And he's like, I need you to just go talk to this person because you have a way of talking that makes people want to listen. So I need just go talk to these people. And I said, okay, whatever you want, man.
DVP had this way.
When someone's got that much passion for the game, and like that will put in the effort to really do a hard work of editing and uploading and coordinating and talking to people, the guy deserves the credit.
He does.
All right, well, I've basically hit the end of my questions. I'm open to having any further discussion that you want, but if there's nothing else, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your experience with me, and for the listeners and the watchers. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you over the past, half hour, 45 minutes or so. This has been great.
I have to say much. DVP just said, okay, do you have time at 10? Yeah, sure. Oh, no, you're not talking to me, you're talking to this other guy. Okay. It's a classic DVP experience.
Yeah, like, he's got a fire hose. He just like points me at people. He says, go talk to them, go talk to them. We were like we really hated each other back in the day when we were young. Oh no, tell me about that. What happened?
Yeah, like every game, like every time I killed him, he would type something. Like every time. Like we were playing 4v4 and we were always playing, like a lot of times we were playing the same position, and every time I would get a frag, he would write something like noob or just you suck or something. It was I hated his guts.
I'll let you in on a secret. He's not done doing that yet. He still does it now. There's a couple people in our community where he's getting to know, and he gets so frustrated with them. We have this guy in our community. He goes by the name No Mercy, and he is an absolute character. If you get to know this guy, he will crack you up. He's so fun, so funny, and he's just got such big energy. But he's got a really like infuriating habit of doing standstill combos. And you get mad every time you die because you're like, you should be moving. You should be better than this. Why are you still doing that 20 years into the game? And he's like, what? It works. What are you going to do?
Why move? Why move?
Yeah. Anyway, shout out to No Mercy. I'm sure I'll talk to him at some point too.
Yeah, do it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Hanky, for taking the time to talk to me, to
No
share
worries.
your experience with everybody. It's been a great pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, likewise. It was really fun.